good, everybody? Chris Tipmore, A1 Forever Sports. You are in the right place. This is the Kicker's Corner. The Kicker's Thoughts, Kick Your Thoughts, whatever you may want to call it. But, it all started this morning, man. I was just having some thoughts about, our kicking situation for the Atlanta Falcons. And also, I seen people, upset about Eddy Pinero and the things that he was saying about the Atlanta Falcons and how he had an opportunity to possibly come here, but he, of course, chose elsewhere. I'll get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to start with the main thing. I wanted to keep the main thing, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. And I want to start with Younghoe Koo versus Lenny Craig. Now, Lenny Craig was brought in first and foremost because of Younghoe Koo, and the production, it has not been there on a consistent basis like we're used to from Younghoe Koo. 2023, he missed 5 field goals. He's considered one of the best field goal kickers out there. But that has changed as of present 2025. The whole reason and purpose for Lenny Craig was because in 2024, Koo had his worst season in Atlanta, missing a career high number of kicks and finishing in the bottom 10% of NFL kickers in the field goal percentage. So in comes Lenny Craig, a.k.a. Lenny Leg. Some people call him that already. But I understand why. The potential on this kid and the leg on this kid, the distance that he can kick the football is uncanny. He has the talent for sure. But I don't think he also had the equity. I do believe when Coach Morris says Lenny Craig is a developmental player, I believe that because he hasn't had the NFL experience on the NFL roster, such like Younghoe Koo does. But also, it makes me wonder, I'm not saying that the competition didn't happen. I'm not saying that people are lying or anything like that. I'm not trying to indicate that. I'm just thinking okay, we know he's a developmental player, Lenny Craig. Why not have an experienced player possibly have this competition with Younghoe Koo? Now, I get it. Also, there may be a possibility of you not being able to have Lenny Craig around on the roster at all if you decided to go that route. Or could it be something a little deeper? We know that Raheem Morris himself has said having about emotional bank accounts with Younghoe Koo. This is coming from respect and being happy about all the things that Younghoe Koo has done for the Atlanta Falcons previously. But we are here now. In 2025, Younghoe Koo has already missed a clutch field goal that would have helped send the Atlanta Falcons to overtime. And now we bring in several kickers, I believe about 7 kickers, to come in for competition to possibly rival Younghoe Koo. In comes Parker. You bring in Parker, and now he is obviously, to me, not going to be kicking on Sunday. I still believe it's fully going to be Younghoe Koo, but he is the person that you're bringing in for competition. My question is, why not bring in veteran competition beforehand? I'm thinking it's because everything that Raheem Morris is saying to us guys is true. He does have that emotional bank account with Younghoe Koo. Koo is his guy. And my thing is, some coaches have guys. Some coaches have their own philosophy. They treat certain players better than others. You would hear coaches say, hey, this guy gets the special treatment. This guy doesn't get treated like the other guys, for example. I'm thinking that Lenny Craig technically never stood a chance, guys. That's my point. I'm thinking that he never actually stood a chance to actually win this battle. I'm thinking it's because we have a young talent that we can bring along, we can develop in our system, and we're still going to be able to keep Younghoe Koo. What we'll be able to do with Lenny Craig is bring him out there, allow him to display his talents, show what he can do, but he's not going to win the job from Young Wei Koo. Not yet. So I don't even think necessarily that this season he necessarily had an opportunity to even win this battle. I don't think it was going to happen. Now, let's talk about Eddy Pinero. People are upset about Eddy Pinero and what he's saying. Perception is everything. Eddy Pinero saying he picked the 49ers. He accepted the 49ers offer because he wanted to win games and be a part of a good culture. Things that he implied were more likely that San Francisco compared to what he saw in Atlanta. He said he didn't even visit Atlanta or want to visit Atlanta because he made the decision to go to the 49ers so quickly. That opportunity, he said, I'm jumping on it. I'm taking it. You also think about this. Jake Moody, former kicker for the 49ers, he was cut immediately. Young Wei Koo is still here. There's more of a clear-cut opportunity for Pinero in San Francisco than it is Atlanta. Now, I understand also how it may look as well, perception-wise. Choices like coaching hirings, firings, how much they invest in special teams, how they address weaknesses, etc. Sometimes people think that the Falcons can be a little, too late. Perception, Pinero also choosing the 49ers over the Falcons sends a signal that the Falcons are not perceived as a good culture / chance to win choice of a team because of the reputation that we have built for ourselves. No winning season since 2017. Repeatedly missing the playoffs. Changes. We went from Dan Quinn to intern to Arthur Smith to making the former interns back as the regular head coach. Something that possibly should have happened back then, but we're here now. So you got to think about it. At the end of the day, people are going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons. People are going to down the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons may have to overpay for certain players in the league because there may be a perception that the Atlanta Falcons are not trying to get it done. Now, the media paints this picture. You hear the whole comments about same old Falcons, same old Falcons. But Falcon fans always have to be the ones to defend that. But it's hard to defend. That's what people don't understand. It's getting harder to defend. And it's not saying that people don't want to be friends. Don't want to be fans, not friends. Friends, fans, family. It's not saying that people don't want to be that part of the rise up culture, the Dirty Bird Nation. But it's getting hard for Falcon fans to defend Falcon action. You can have your guys, but when your guys are not living up to the expectation, you have to do something different with one of your guys. We'll see what happens moving forward with Young Wei Koo. This is a tough decision, I understand. It was tough for me to even sit here and make this video. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Just, it's just real, honestly, my naked thoughts about it. I'm just sitting back and just wondering, why are we here? And if I sit back and keep on asking myself why, I just know where I end up. That's all I'm saying. It's like, am I tripping? I don't know, man. Y'all let me know. Chris Tipmore, A1 Forever Sports. I'm out.